Hello everyone. This is Tansy. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing another diva transformation. These are the things that you're going to need. So just before I start to apply the braid to the image of the diva, I wanted to explain that these twists were used for crochet. And so what I did ahead of time, I went and I cut the tip of each of these parts off so that we will have a neater start to our braid. And so we won't have to start and stop, start and stop. So I went ahead before this project and cut each of them off so that the tip looks like this. The tip looks like this. So we'll have a nicer start to our braid and don't have to worry about that. All right, so that's just a little tidbit. So I'm going to start by turning the diva around so that you could have a better look at what, while I'm working on the hair, so that you have a closer look at what I'm doing. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each braid and I'm going to apply it to the hair, and it goes like this. Just making sure that my glue gun, the tip of it, is not dirty because that affects the way how neat or how messy your application will be. So just make sure that your glue is nice and clean. The glue tip especially is nice and clean before you begin, because it does make a difference with how neat your work is. All right, so now that I've cleaned my glue tip off, I'm going to just apply one small little dot in the area that I want the first braid to be, or the first twist to be. So I'm just going to put it and add a little pressure to that braid. And that's it. We're going to start along the hairline, back of the head, and then we'll work our way up. So when we apply a little pressure, it should look like this, where you're not even able to take the braid or the twist off. I could pull on it, and I'm pulling on it and nothing happens. So that's what you want to do. Make sure that each is set. We're going to try and do them as close as possible. And since this is going to be an updo, what I'm going to do is, and if you wait a couple seconds before applying, you won't have the glue marks like I've mentioned in previous videos. So I'm just working my way up. And this shouldn't take us a whole lot of time because the hair is already pre-cut. The little tip that I told you about, because this is crochet braid, we won't have to spend a lot of time. I'm going to leave out her edges just because I like to see the edges. It's all nice and curly. You can see her baby hair. So all I'm going to do is continue filling in areas as close to where her edges are. And this is on photo paper. I did have this done on photo paper just because it's much easier. Then I don't have to think about laminating and doing some of the other things to secure or to make it weatherproof. The photo paper, unless you're going to do a wreath, I would laminate. I don't have to laminate. If I'm going to do a wreath, I would laminate it, but this is going to be a Canvas Diva, so I'm not worried too much about it getting in the way of like rain or some type of other weather. So I'm just going to continue. I'm just working my way to show you that it doesn't have to take all day to do this. We're not doing an actual braid where it should take you all day. This is just a Canvas Diva. So it should go by pretty fast. Just make sure that your work is neat. You don't want to see much of the glue mark. And so just be mindful of that part. So if you just hold after you have let the glue just about, I would say about 5 seconds, let the glue, before applying pressure to it, let it cool down, and then you are good to go. Now I have to I'm going to start to the other side because I might be running out of hair. So I'm just going to leave this because at the end of the day, I could do a style where the center of it, you won't even have to see that. Let's see. So we're going to continue on this side, or start on this side. And then we're just going to continue like we have been, making sure you give the glue a couple of seconds to cool down. Okay, I need to cut this part. This is what we're trying to eliminate. So instead of me putting it on the image, it got caught to the paper that I have to the bottom of my Diva. So this is one of the reasons why I do use photo paper, because it's very easy to remove the glue even after it has been placed on the image. So let's try this again. And this is one of the reasons why, because we didn't have a really good tip. So just cut that off and you should be good to go. So let's do this again. This part is like really close. And because it's, and I'm going to show you why I'm having a little bit of difficulty with this piece, is because it's right at the tip of her ear, and so it doesn't have much of a space. So I'm just going to kind of clip that part off. Because it's about neatness. So let's try this again. We're going to end up putting it right here. And I'm just not going to use that one. And this is the reason why we add a little pressure, so that we don't see the beginning of the twist. So like I stated before, this is going to be an updo, so I'm not too much worried. I just want to get as much hair because I don't have like a lot of hair. This is like half of a pack. So I want to see how far this will get us. It will get us a style. I could think of a style that we could still use to do this. without showing, so that you wouldn't have to worry about. And since we're leaving out her edges, that will also give us less space to work with. So we just continue. As you could tell, I'm really running out of hair now. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to fill the area. Fill the area closest to her edge, and also to the back of, and we could always fill that in with some more hair when I do get, but I want to show you how I would do these types of, just so that you could see that it does have the hair in. I promise you it won't matter. But this is just all a part of improvising. As you can see that the spaces are getting smaller, and I just need to be able to fill these spaces up so that it gives the illusion that all the hair is the same length. And I think these are the last two pieces, so we gotta make it count. Make them count. See how I've filled them in? And then she looks like she has her part in her hair. So this is what we got. The longer pieces, the longer twists are on the ends and around her hairline. She has a part. So just gonna let you see what it looks like. And then I'm going to show you how I will style. Even though we didn't have enough hair to fill the entire part, you're going to see what we could do to improvise. Okay, so we have the braids or the twists. And we have like a little space in the middle. Not much, but where we needed the twist to be, most likely on the sides and to the back of her hair, because one of the options, and I think this is not the only option, but this is what I think I'm going to use, is I've cut a piece of cloth of the same material as fabric as her outfit, and I'm going to make a head wrap. And that way it'll cover the middle section of her hair. So this is what I'll show you now, how I would do this. So I would take the fabric, and I just make sure all the hair So this is the fabric I've cut. It's not even straight or none of that. But because this is going to be a Canvas Diva, it's a little bit forgiving. And when I say a little bit forgiving, I mean that we could do some things. So this is how I'm envisioning her head wrap. We could tie this part up. we may need to cut a bigger piece, which I do have some more of this fabric, but this is what it would. And then even if we wanted to have some of it like on the sides to make it a little fancy, we could do that. We possibilities are endless with this. She's cute already. I will show you. So we are back, and I wanted to show you how I glue the fabric down, and then we could also get with the styling of her hair. So like mentioned before, I am going to glue this head wrap. So I want to glue a piece here. I'm going to continue to glue this area. It's almost as if you're sewing. So just going to make a little line and then do this piece. And then basically just cover her ear right here. And we're just using little dabs of glue. You don't have to use a whole lot. So and then we just go over on this side. So I'm making the head wrap. I'm just going to take this part. Maybe I should not have glued this area. Let's do this first so that we could cover, because we want it to sit flat. We want the head wrap to sit flat. And so we could put an extra piece when we're finished. So I will glue this little area here so that I could have like a little piece that's to the top, just kind of giving it a little flow. And then I would just do this little area here as well. So now I could continue. As mentioned before, this is why I like to use the photo paper, because once you see like the glue marks, you don't have to worry about them because you could always take them off. And so now I'm just going to make sure that this part covered the middle section where I didn't have enough hair, and you won't be able to tell and nobody else will. So this little part I would also glue to the hair itself so that we don't ever see any spots that's missing. So this is her head wrap. Simple yet classy. And so this part is finished. So now I could get an additional piece of cloth And I could cover up that area so that you don't see any of the glue areas or where it starts and ends. And I could just put a little bit, a piece of fabric right in this area. And that way, it looks like a little bun in that area. Something like so. But we could do it better because I want to be able to show like all the different colors that are in her outfit and the head wrap. So if we do it like this, it's just covering this little part where we glued the area. I believe in covering up the bad areas. And it's not bad, but right here, I just don't like to see. I want to look as professional as possible when my work is finished. So that's a piece that we'll have to work on. But I'm liking the way how it looks. And now we could go along with styling her now, her hair. And so I'll show you how that is done. So we could leave this for last. And I'm going to show you how I style to fit her head wrap. So I'm just going to turn her around. And just get all the hair. And since, like I said before, this is going to be like an updo. Can you see what I'm doing? So I'm just going to take like sections of the hair. Small sections. Let's do small sections of the hair. And basically, this is how I do the pin curls you have seen on a couple other videos that I've done. I just take the hair in small sections and just fold them. Make them into like a round little ball. And then I glue them to where I want them to be. So making sure that everything is the same size and also the twists are going in the same direction. That's how I make the pin curls. So this is what it looks like for right now. Before I glue down, let me bring it a little closer so that you could see what I'm talking about. The pin curls. Okay. So then I could begin to glue this piece down. There's a piece of hair that's in this part, so let me go ahead and add it to this little section. And this is how I make the pin curls. And then what I'll do is take another section. And then again, I'll do the same thing. Do it in take the hair and put it in like a circular. And then voila, another pin curl. So there you have the two. And we don't have to worry too much about those because as you glue, you will see like little areas that needs to be glued down. And so you just glue it down. But these are what the pin curls look like. And then the last one, I could have that more like on the side. And like I said, all I'm doing is taking all the hair that you have in this section that you're doing the pin curl. You're making sure that they all in the same direction because Pin curls is about neatness, like how you're able to get all the hair in one area. And so the little ends, you're making sure that they're in the, the curl itself. So you could just put those down because we haven't glued anything yet. Just seeing how it would look before I actually do the style. Because we may need to change it up depending on what it looks like. So that's basically for the pin curls. That's what I do. So now that I've shown you the pin curls, I am going to glue them down and I'll be back. Let's see what she looks like with her pin curls. This one is not cooperating, but I may need to make her smaller or make it smaller, the pin curl smaller. So let me turn it around so that you could see. With the pin curls, what she looks like. So this one goes around this one. Of course, it'll be much neater by the time I'm finished, but I just want you to see it like what I'm seeing in my head, what it looks like before I actually glue it down. This is what she looks like before I glue it down. Pin curls. All right, let's see what it looks like. So there you have the pin curls. This is what she looks like with her pin curls. They are not glued yet, but I just wanted you to see before I glue them down. Remember, she's going to be a Canvas Diva. So the pin curls are pretty much set. This is how I want it to look at the end. So I'm going to go and glue now. Look at the pin curls. I started to glue them down. So I did this first one. So I'm going to do the second, which is this middle one. And look at it. And I'll show you how I actually glue so that everything could stay together like this. So we're going to do that for the second one. So as mentioned, I'm going to show you how I actually glue the pin curls so that they could have that neat look. So I just basically just take them all together, and then I'm going to decide where I am going to place them. And so then I just begin so to make sure that all the hair is going in the same direction. So I'm going to have it right here because I want it to be in close proximity of the first one that I did. So then I'm just going to put the excess, the little ends of the twist, and I'm going to put them in the middle part so you won't even see those at all. So then I will begin to glue, and what I'm going to do is glue sections of the hair together so that it won't have any lift. So I wanted to continue to show you what and how I usually have all the twists going together and having it being neat so you really can't see where the glue marks are. but we want to try and keep the hair. This is how I try to keep them together so that they'll have like a all of them going in the same pretty much pattern direction. All I do is just glue to the bottom and then just press against it so that all the hair could be in this pin curl, and I won't have to worry about it moving all over the place. Keep all the hair together. That's how I get that effect. Just placing a little glue under so that you don't have to see it in the style of the pin curls. And you put glue as many places as you can so that it doesn't move, the hair doesn't move, and we don't see the glue. This is what makes it neat when you don't have to see the glue. See, I'm just taking little sections and putting some glue on it. And that's how we get the pin curls. Now I have one more to do. And like I said before, this is going to be a Canvas Diva. So all we're doing is making the pin curls, and that way when we do transfer it to the canvas, that we won't have any issues. The pin curls would have already been set, and we just have to glue her to the canvas. So this is the last of the pin curls that we're doing. And like I mentioned before, for the pin curls, all I'm doing is making sure that the hair is going all in the same direction. And that's it. Voila. So now we could glue it down. And let's just make sure that it's equivalent to the other two so that you don't have one bigger than the other. So that's what we're checking on before we actually glue. So let's just take a look at it and see. From this vantage point, it looks like they're all the same size. And so we're good to go. All we're doing now is just gluing this part down and we're done. So like I said before, I'm just taking a little part where you can't see, and then we just put in glue, and we're doing it under instead of on top of the hair so that you won't be able to tell where the glue is or the glue marks are. So that's all I'm doing. And then I am going to put part of this close enough to the head wrap so that in any case it won't be moving to go anywhere. Just stays. And we just look for any of the parts that is not stick with the glue, and we're going to glue it down at this point. So that's all we're doing right now. Looking for any spot that's not glued. Like I see some areas here. So I'm just putting some glue. And that's what we do. Voila. this is all that it takes. A little bit of glue goes a long way. And then there's a piece that still needs to be glued right here. And so voila, our pin curls are set. So now we just check the middle of the pin curls and see if any area may need to be glued some more. And that will be it. All right, our pin curls are set. Just have one little piece. And that's all we are doing. Now, the last piece, the last part, I should say, of doing this, see we have our pin curls, just making sure that we don't have any glue marks anywhere. And then what we can do now, we can glue these pin curls together so that they be close enough to each other and won't be moving. So this is all we do. Take some of the glue and put it in between the two. Just apply a little pressure and voila, it's done. So here she is with her pin curls, with her jewelry. I just have one little piece of the fabric that I need to cut, and then we are good to go. Split apart, and we are through. Isn't she lovely? She has her head wrap and her pin curls. And I'm going to let you see a closer look of the pin curls. And here she is. Pin curls are not moving to go anywhere. She has her outfit all in place. She has a jewelry set. Oh, we did say that maybe at the end I'll add a little piece here. Let's see how it works. Workout. If we even need it at all, no. Because I don't want to hide the pin curls. So let's really check to see if we need this piece. And I'm thinking that we really don't need that piece. So we just let it be the way it is. And so now we could get ready to put her on the canvas. Get her jewelry together, and then we straight. There she is.